And yeah, as I always ask you, if you like this reading, please like, subscribe, leave a comment if that's what you'd like to do. I don't mind if you do or you don't, but I would like it very much. I'm stop being silly, I'm sorry. So the first card, I'm going to get right on with your reading, Aries. I'm sorry about this. So the first card you have for your past is the Hermit. Okay, so yeah, the Hermit's by himself. He's a thinker. He goes off by himself. He follows his own path. He's got his own lantern there and he's looking there. He's just walking along by himself. So obviously, I think you're by yourself. You're in your head like this Hermit. I think you're alone in your thoughts. I think you actually felt quite alone at this time. I think there was something ahead of you. There's some kind of decision you have to make or something like that. You're looking forward to something. And I think you're a little bit nervous about this as well, but you're on your path. You're by yourself, lighting your own way, like this Hermit. So I think you did have some people you were talking to. I think you had some people who you could ask about this decision you had to make, but you're still very much by yourself in this, feeling a little bit mixed up. I think you're kind of thinking something like, should I go on this path? Should I do this? I wish someone had a magic wand and they could just come and tell me what I should do and I'd just do it. So yeah, you did have people to talk to. This is what I'm seeing, but none of them had this magic wand. They couldn't just say, oh, do this, It was totally up to you, I should say. You're by yourself like this Hermit. So, you had to go on this path alone. You had to work out what you wanted to do by yourself. You're a very, very instinctual person. And, whenever you've followed your instincts before, you've always been right. That's something to keep in mind if you're still in this and worrying about this. Sometimes your emotions and your fears can get in the way of you being able to listen to your instincts, though. So you have them there, they're very, very strong, but sometimes your emotions can be stronger than the instincts. So you can't quite see the instincts because the emotions are in the way. And I think if you were feeling that a lot of these people weren't able to help you, which is what I'm seeing there, you're 100% right about that. I don't think any of these people you're talking to would have been able to advise you properly on this. I'm not saying, I'm not putting anyone down. I'm not saying you're better than them or whatever. This situation was sort of, it was a completely different experience to anything any of these people had ever experienced themselves. So if they haven't experienced this themselves, they can't properly advise you. They don't know anything about this. So yeah, like this Hermit, you had to find your own path. And, if you're still worried about this, just remember you're an explorer. What I mean by that is you just go out on your own. You try things. You're instinctual. You do a lot of things that other people wouldn't do. You can also be a little bit afraid of a lot of things that other people would never be afraid of as well. So you like that as well. That's the kind of other side. That's the flip side of being an explorer sometimes. But it's in your nature to explore things. You're Aries. So think of everything you've ever explored. Think of everything you've ever done just instinctively. That all of those things have worked for you so far. And if you do this instinctively, this is going to work for you as well. But of course, sometimes, like this time, your emotions were getting in the way of that. So do anything that you can to kind of get your emotions out of this so that you can find those instincts again and follow those. You might have to meditate. You might have to just rest. You might have to do something completely different to just take your mind off this whole thing. Watch something funny, go do something else, go and get a complete change of scene, look at something completely different. I don't know. I think you personally know what might help you to do that better than I would. But yeah, you've got to take your emotions out of this so that you're able to follow your instincts. That's what I'm seeing. So the next card you have, you pass the King of Wands. So yeah, again, I think you wanted to do this thing. Part of you was saying, right, I'm going to do this, I want to do this. And then there was also another part of you that was just really unsure, a little bit afraid as well, I think. I know you probably don't want to admit that as an Aries, but you probably were a bit afraid. If you look at this king, he's about to get up and go, but he's hesitating. He's not up there yet. He's sitting there. He's got his walking stick ready, his wand, and he's like, okay, I want to go. I'm looking over there. That's where I want to go. But I'm not quite ready yet. I'm just kind of sitting here first. I'm kind of hesitating a bit. So I'm actually seeing in this card, I think there might be a part of you that tries to resist permanency. And I think there might be a part of you that kind of thinks or feels that if you make an actual decision one way or the other, it means you're stuck in that decision. You can't go back. You can't go anywhere else. And I think you hate feeling stuck. You like to have options around you, freedom around you. You don't like to be, okay, I'm stuck in this. Now I have to do this forever. And I think the reason why that is, I think maybe something you had, or your emotions, your subconscious, is really, really stressed about being stuck. Because I think maybe there might have been a time in your past where you were stuck. You felt that horrible stuck feeling. You're in a situation or a place or a relationship or a job, or it could be anything at all, where you're just in this place, you were stuck there, you felt like you couldn't move, and it was the most horrible feeling ever. And now that you're not in that place anymore, you're going along and you think, okay, if I make this decision, I might go back to that feeling. But again, I don't want to go backwards. I don't want to go back to that feeling. I don't want to be stuck. And so you're kind of resisting that, and that might be what you're afraid of. It might not be, this is just what I'm seeing here. So, you know, if that's the case, all I can tell you is you're not in the position you were back then. You're not stuck like you were back then. You're in a completely different position now. You're different now. Everything's completely different now. You're in charge of yourself now. Whether you make this decision, okay, if you say yes, you can always rearrange things. You can always renegotiate things. You can always change your mind. You can always move on to someone else. You can always wait for however many years it takes and then move, or days or months or anything. You can always change anything. Things change daily, all the time. The whole world is changing every day. The sun comes up, goes down. Everything changes every day. Our cells in our bodies are constantly changing. Don't worry about being stuck. If you say no as well and you regret that, you can change that as well. You can go back and say, oh, I've changed my mind. If they say no, you can just say to yourself, well, that's supposed to happen. I'll go on and find something else. Don't be so worried about being stuck. And I think that comes right back to a feeling you had years ago, or I don't know, however many years ago, whatever it was ago, that you did have that feeling, and subconsciously you're resisting going back to that feeling again. That's what I'm seeing in that card. I don't know if that resonates. I just went off, but hopefully it did. So the last card you have your past is the Page of Wands. Okay, so I'm seeing a few different things in this card. There's something coming up for you. The first thing is there's something coming up for you. I think you've already started whatever this is. You've kind of set this in motion. So this has nothing to do with this thing I'm seeing in the Hermit card. This is a completely different thing that you're doing. It might even be a relief from all of this other stress that you're going through. It's something that's really fun, something that you really like. And I think also the stakes aren't as high around this. So I'm feeling relieved when I see this and I think about this. You probably get some relief when you kind of think about this. So sorry about that noise. So I think you might be partnered up with someone in this, or you might be working with someone to do this, build this up, or whatever this is. I think you have a lot of learning to do around this, and I think they do as well, because the pages are students, so you know, they're not established yet. But I think the result of this is going to be way, way, way more positive than you thought it would. You know, this page is looking up to the top of this wand and he's thinking, am I going to get there? Am I going to do this? I'm only small. I don't know if I can really do this. But you will. This is going to be very, very successful. I'm seeing a lot of action. I'm seeing a lot of popularity around this. So whatever this is, a lot of people are going to like this or agree with this, or whatever it is, whether this is in your workplace, you're going to have the people around you agreeing with it, or whether it isn't, a lot of people are going to like this thing. So I am getting a very positive feeling around that. So just know that. And I think I'm probably getting a positive feeling around this as well, because it's something that feels easy to you. It's something that feels light to you. It's something that's kind of quite fun to think about. It's not like this other thing in the Hermit card. Okay, so the other thing I'm seeing in this card is there's someone who's attracted to you, and normally I look at this and I'd see a crush, because these are, you know, the pages are teenagers sometimes, so students and whatever, so I see crushes sometimes if it's love in a page card. But I think it's a bit more than that. This is someone you know. I think they might be, I was going to say younger than you, but I don't think they are. They might actually be older than you, but I think they have, you know, they're young at heart, or they're young in their ways. Their youth is in their heart. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing some kind of traveling or moving. So maybe they're away from you. This is interesting. I've never seen this in this card before. I've never looked at this in this way before. I'll move it up so you can see, because I've got it out of camera. If you look at the lines on the ground here, they look a little bit like contours in a map to me. You know, when you look at a map and there are all these contours on the map if you're in the countryside or whatever, and there are these contours. So that's what I'm seeing on the ground there. So I'm seeing traveling, or they're far away from you, or if they had to come to you, they'd have to travel, or vice versa. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing there. So sorry about that. I see these things. So anyway, I think they were around you once, but they're not now. That's what I'm seeing. The other thing I think when I'm looking at this map and these contours is feeling lost. You know, you're looking at a map and you're lost. So I think they might feel a bit lost in life. They might feel a bit out of place in their life, not happy, kind of a bit restless where they are. I think they'd actually like to move from where they are in their life, but I don't think they have the confidence to change things on their own right now anyway. So if you know who this is and they reach out to you, and I think they will, I don't actually think this person's right for you in love romantically. I don't think they do. And I think you know that. And I think deep down they probably know that logically as well, but they're not thinking logically at this time. They're trying to get out of something. They're seeing you as someone who's in this position, and they see, okay, if I can be with this person, I do have feelings for them, I'm attracted to them, and I can get out of where I am if I kind of latch onto them. It sounds like they're a bit of a parasite, but it's not that bad. That's not what I'm seeing. They're very mixed up in their mind. That's what I think. That's what I'm seeing. So, you know, I actually think they'd really benefit from your advice if they do contact you. I don't think advice is what they're looking for. They're actually looking for love with you. But they would benefit from your help or your advice, definitely. So, you know, of course, this is up to you. If you don't feel comfortable talking to them, there might be an axe, they might not. Or I don't know. It's totally up to you, but they definitely benefit from your help if that's what you are happy to give them. That's what I'm seeing in that card. So the first card you have your presence, the Nine of Cups. So yeah, okay, this is what I'm seeing. Okay. Try not to be tempted by this person in the Page of Wands. You can talk to them, whatever, be friends or whatever. They are going to connect with you. I'm seeing that now. Okay, I'm saying to be careful, because what I was seeing in the Hermit card was I was seeing you feeling alone. So whether you're in a relationship or not, I don't know, you are still feeling alone at this time, and you still are probably now, because this man's alone as well. So you know they're not right for you, but they are interested in you, and they see you as some kind of an escape. They see you as an escape. That's what I'm seeing, an escape from where they are in their life. So if they get you in a weak moment when you're feeling a bit lonely and you're tempted to go further with them or whatever, down the line this could turn into a big disaster, because what would happen is they're not right for you. It would never work. This is what I'm seeing. And you would want to move on from them. You would say, no, this doesn't feel right. I've done the wrong thing. I need to move on. They try to hold on to you, and it would be a great, big, messy disaster. That's what I'm seeing. I don't know if they're aware that they see you as an escape. It might be in their subconscious. So that's why I wasn't seeing, you might be thinking of this person, oh, they're trying to latch onto me. They're like a leech and a horrible person. I'm not sure about that because it might be in their subconscious. So, but anyway, whatever it is, just tread very carefully around this person. If you want to help them, that's absolutely fine, but be very careful. They might try to take it further with you. They probably will. And they're a little bit lost emotionally as well. They're going after the wrong thing for the wrong reasons. That's what I'm seeing. And it could get very, very messy if you kind of have a weak moment or whatever, and then later on you kind of regret that. You'll be stuck with them. This is a place you will be stuck, and you don't want to be stuck in this place. That's what I'm seeing. If that resonates with you, if it doesn't, fine. If it does, be careful. The next card you have here present is the Five of Cups. Yeah, here we are again. They definitely, they definitely want to keep this bridge open between you. They want to keep that opened. But from what I'm seeing here, it's probably not for the right reasons. Okay, so the other thing I'm seeing on this card is, okay, I don't mean for this to be negative, but I actually think you might still be dealing with some old hurt feelings around an ex. Now, that doesn't mean you want them back. It doesn't mean you're going around crying all day and all night, thinking about them all the time. It doesn't mean you're contacting them. I don't think you are doing any of those things. It just means you're still very, very, very wary of closeness with other people. Even if you're in a relationship, you might be in a relationship, you might not be, but if you are, you might be kind of, your radar's up, you're kind of looking for signs that things are going to go wrong, you're backing off, you might be distancing yourself and all of that. If you're single, you might be doing that. If you start new relationships, if you start dating, if you're with people, if you're thinking about that, your radar's up around that as well. It's like, oh, what can go wrong? Is this the right thing? I don't want to do this. All of that kind of thing. And I think that's because you're still dealing with all of these hurt feelings you had with this ex. And I think this is coming up at this point in time for a reason, which I'll go through that a bit later. But I just want to say, because this is coming up, what I'm feeling around this. I'm feeling this feeling of indifference. And I think this ex might have been or made you feel as if they're indifferent about you. I think one minute they seemed fine, and the next minute they were indifferent. They were kind of ignoring you. They might have even been rude to you or something. 1 minute great, next minute indifference. That's what I'm seeing. And the problem you had around this, of course, it was hurtful, of course, but a big problem you had around this was you couldn't control what was happening. It was out of control. And that feeling is the worst, probably the worst feeling an Aries can have, because you're the emperor. You want to be in control, and in this situation you're completely out of control. And so, yeah, if this is all resonating, obviously this left you with a sort of cloak of fear around you. Now, I'm not trying to sound dramatic. I'm sorry if I am, but obviously I'm looking at this man's cloak, and that's what I'm seeing, a cloak of fear. So, this man is, he has his head down. He's got his head down. He's got this cloak of fear around him. And, he's standing there. There's a beautiful landscape around him. There's a beautiful castle in front of him. There's amazing things around him. But he's not looking at it because he has this fear. So at times you can't see what's around you. You can't see that you have these great opportunities. You might have, if you're in a relationship, this person might love you absolutely, truly, but you find it hard to see that because you've got this cloak around you. Or if you're single, you might have people in front of you who are amazing. They're perfect for you, but you can't see that because you've got this cloak around you. That's what I'm seeing. I really don't mean to be negative, but this is what I'm seeing. So you are growing out of this feeling. You are growing out of this feeling. You're going through some huge changes in your life. You're growing. And sometimes when we're going through this process, this growth process, an ascension process, or whatever this is, and I think you are going through that, sometimes it can feel worse before it gets better. For example, okay, I'll give you an example. Okay, so if you have, say for example, if you have a fever, your body gets really, really hot and cold, and it does that to sweat everything out. I know that sounds disgusting, but it does that to sweat everything out. So you're in a process of getting everything out of your system. And to go through that process, you have to go through the fever part, which feels horrible. You know, you feel sick, you don't feel well. I think you probably might even be feeling very, very tired at this time. And that's part of this process because you're shedding things. So if this is resonating, just keep on hanging in there. Be kind to yourself. Do nice things for yourself. Rest as much as you can. I think that's very important for you at this time. Know that this is going to pass. You're in the middle of this process. Also for an Aries, it's very hard to go through this. It's very hard to feel out of control, and that might be how you're feeling. Don't resist it. Just let it happen. That's what I'm seeing in that card. So I'm feeling all of this myself, so it's okay. So the last card you have here present is the Ace of Swords. So, okay, this is reflecting what I was seeing in the Page of Wands. This is giving me some relief because I know this is a light thing. It's something you're working on with something. It gives you relief from a lot of this other stress, and I'm suddenly feeling a lot more relieved when I see this again. This is about this partnership, this thing you're working on, this kind of enjoyable thing. So again, I'm seeing a really, really fantastic result here. It's way, way better than what you were expecting. So whoever this person is that you're working with, you do really work really well together. And there's creativity around this. I don't know if this is a creative project, but this person has really amazing creative abilities. They're a very, very, very creative person. You have a lot of creative abilities as well, but I think in completely different areas to them. So that's why you complement each other. I think you'll probably need some extra technical help on some of the areas of this project as you keep going. So try not to get lost in the details, especially if you have technical problems. You know, don't waste your time on the details. Don't try and do this yourself. Get someone else to do this. You could be spending your time a lot wiser than working on these things, you know, because your area of expertise is in a different area to this. So let someone else work on this. I know sometimes it can be difficult for you to trust people. So, you know, you might be struggling to find the right person when this time comes. But definitely don't try to do everything yourself. But yeah, look at this crown on top of this sword. I'm seeing this really, really taking off. I think you'll be really surprised at how well this does. You're going to work your way up to the crown. That's what I'm seeing.